Okay, for this lecture, we're just going to review the lens cross. This is something that I saw in one of our last homeworks. It was just a little bit, everyone had done it slightly different, and I wanted to get everybody on the same page. A lens cross is a way to try to visualize a prescription that a person needs, or a lens and its orientation, especially if you have a spherocylindrical lens, a lens that has a sphere power and a cylinder power. So I would recommend, I saw a few folks that if I gave you a power -4, -2, axis 45, I saw some folks write, well, here's a -4, and call this 45 degrees, and remember the sphere always corresponds with the axis. 90 degrees away, you'll always have your full amount of cylinder, and so people wrote this. And I would strongly suggest that you don't do that going forward. You still get an idea, and it's technically correct, but it's not the best way to visualize it, because that's not how it actually looks. I would always have the lens cross always look the same, always relatively the same. Start with a 0 here, 90 there, 180 degrees there. And this is as the patient, as you are looking at the patient. It would be reversed if the patient was looking out of the glasses, but that's for another episode. As you are looking at the patient. And the reason this is important is this is really what real life is like. As you're looking at a person, as they're looking out at you, 0 is to your right, 90 is up, 180 is left. So now if we redraw this prescription as it's actually written out, find your 45 degrees, and sphere corresponds with the axis. There's a -4 here, and remember 90 degrees away, you get the full amount of the astigmatism, so it would be a -6 here, and this would be at 135. So, and remember, this helps you do a couple of things. One, if you're trying to find, so the -4 here, it increases by 2 diopters to a -6, and then back down again to a 4. This is good for you to visualize how an eyeglass lens would fit in someone's prescription. But since this is a contact lens course, it's actually very important when we have lenses, patients who have astigmatism, or lenses that have an astigmatic correction, that we're able to visualize this. So the lens should look like this. If it spins one way or the next, it's not correct. But as I'm looking at it and the patient is looking at me, that lens should be oriented exactly like this. So make sure whenever you're drawing a lens cross, always make sure that your basic cross looks like this. 0, 90, 180. 0 to the right, 90 straight up and down, 180 to your left, and you can draw any prescription you want. If the axis is at 20, you'd have 20 and 110. If you had axis at 90, but you'll always look at how the lens looks on the patient, or how the prescription is required on that patient, and it's a much, much better way to visualize it. So let's try to do that from here on out, and I'll throw a few problems your way.